Today I'm making one of my Thai takeaway favorites, Pad Ga Prao, or stir-fried spicy mince with holy basil, usually served with rice and a fried gooey egg. Now, quick disclaimer, this is not an authentic version, but my take that's practical to me and most importantly, healthier for you. With that out of the way, here's how I make it at home. The first thing to do with Pad Ga Prao is to choose your protein source. Now, traditionally it's made with minced pork or chicken, but you can also use beef, lamb, tempeh. The sky's the limit really. For me today, I'm going to be using a mixture of pork and tempeh. The tempeh adds a really nice nutty flavor, but at the same time it also adds additional fiber to the dish. The next thing to do is to make your chili garlic paste. Now, there are essentially two types of chilies you can use here: bird eye chilies, which are really hot, or large red chilies, which are more fruitier in nature. Now, I'm going to be using a mixture of both, but either way, I'm going to be removing most of the seed and membrane to reduce the overall heat, but also the bitterness that comes with the seeds as well. Now, on top of that, I'm going to add at least 4 to 5 cloves of garlic. Now, you can pound the ingredients in a pestle and mortar like I'm doing here, or you can just chop it manually or just use a blender. Either way really works for the home cook. Now, one of the other key ingredients about Pad Ga Prao is the sauce in which the seasoning is applied to the mince. I'm using a mixture of light soy sauce, fish sauce, oyster sauce, caramel dark soy sauce, a bit of sugar, cornstarch and water. Now, the cornstarch here is not traditional, but I like it because it adds a bit of extra body and thickness to the sauce. Again, not traditional, but I like it this way. Pad Ga Prao also generally has some form of vegetables in the dish itself, normally in the form of beans and onions, which we're using today, but you can also use the other vegetables like kailan or kale as well. And yes, I like my food to have a lot of vegetables, so I'm throwing in a lot of veggies. You do you! Now, last but not least, the basil. Try to get your hands on some good holy basil or Thai basil, and the key here really is to use way more than you think you need, because they do cook down quite a fair bit and you want the flavor and the aroma to be very strong. You just mainly need the leaves, but if you have tender stems you can also throw them in as well. And that's all the prep done. So onto the stove, I'm going to get my wok set on high heat and I'm going to add a couple of tablespoons of any oil. And the first thing I'm going to do is to start searing my protein choices first. This is not traditional, but I do like it when my mince, in this case tempeh and pork, has a bit of crispy edges. It does give a bit of nice contrast to the final dish. Once golden brown and deliciousness is achieved, we can move on to the next step, of which I add in my long beans just to get them started cooking, and with that, followed with my chili garlic paste and my sliced onions. So after that, I'm going to add in my sauce mixture and stir that really well. In this case, it needed a bit more water, so I'm adding about half a cup of water into the wok itself and I'm going to stir that really well. And last but not least, I'm going to turn off the heat and throw in my basil and just stir them around and let the residual heat cook it through. You can serve this as a dish in itself or pair it with some rice. In my case, I'm using red rice and a fried gooey egg. So this is my version of Pad Ga Prao that is much more healthier than the ones you find outside. And I know it's not traditional, but it's certainly much better for you. Now, if you have a dish that you'd like me to try to make healthier, let me know in the comments. Until then, I'll see you next time.